In this video, we are discussing the creepy crime story that inspired a horror movie. So before we start, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for future updates. True crime stories have long been a source of fascination, and some of the creepiest tales of real-life horror have found their way into the world of film. One such story is the case of the Zodiac Killer, a name that has become synonymous with unsolved mysteries and chilling terror. The Zodiac Killer, whose crimes took place in Northern California in the late 1960s and early 1970s, has haunted the public for decades due to the cryptic messages he left behind, his taunting behavior towards police, and the sheer brutality of his killings. His story has not only captivated the public, but also inspired filmmakers to bring this eerie tale to the silver screen. The 2007 film Zodiac, directed by David Fincher, is one of the most well-known cinematic adaptations of the Zodiac Killer case. In this video, we will explore the creepy true crime story of the Zodiac Killer, the chilling elements that made it perfect for a horror movie adaptation, and how the investigation into the killer's identity continues to haunt both real-life investigators and audiences alike. The combination of the unknown killer, the fear and paranoia surrounding his crimes, and his cryptic messages made the Zodiac Killer story an ideal foundation for a horrifying cinematic experience. The Zodiac Killer, a gruesome crime wave. The Zodiac Killer's reign of terror began in the late 1960s in the San Francisco Bay Area. His first known victims were high school students Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday, who were shot and killed on December 20, 1968. However, it wasn't until the following year that the Zodiac Killer's infamous pattern of behavior began to emerge. On July 4, 1969, the killer struck again, this time murdering Darlene Ferrin and Michael Mageau in a secluded area near Blue Rock Springs Park in Vallejo, California. The attack was brutal and cold-blooded, but what made it even more terrifying was the killer's approach. After shooting the couple, he calmly walked away, leaving the surviving victim to give a vague description of the killer. What set the Zodiac Killer apart from other serial killers was his need to communicate with the public. Over the next several years, the killer sent numerous letters to local newspapers, taunting police and claiming responsibility for the murders. His letters included cryptic ciphers, some of which were never solved, and bizarre messages, including threats of more killings. While the Zodiac Killer's identity remains a mystery, his behavior and methods had an undeniable influence on the public's perception of fear. The chilling, impersonal nature of the murders, combined with the killer's cryptic messages and deliberate evasion of capture, created a sense of paranoia that gripped the community and sent shockwaves through the nation. The investigation, a dead-end road. The investigation into the Zodiac Killer's crimes was a massive effort involving law enforcement from various jurisdictions. Despite the widespread attention the case received and the numerous leads that were followed, the killer's identity remained elusive. Over the years, multiple suspects have been suggested, but no one has ever been definitively linked to the crimes. One of the most disturbing aspects of the case was the killer's ability to evade capture. While detectives were able to piece together evidence from the crime scenes, they were never able to identify the Zodiac Killer despite the killer's apparent eagerness to communicate with the police. The cryptic letters and ciphers that the killer sent to the media often included clues, but they were deliberately designed to be incomprehensible. Some ciphers were eventually solved, but many remain unsolved to this day, adding to the eerie and unsettling nature of the case. As time passed, the investigation stalled, and the killer's identity remained unknown. However, the fear and fascination surrounding the Zodiac Killer only grew. The case became one of the most high-profile unsolved serial killer cases in American history, inspiring numerous books, documentaries, and films. Zodiac, the horror film adaptation. The 2007 film Zodiac, directed by David Fincher, is one of the most notable cinematic adaptations of the Zodiac Killer case. The film, which is based on the non-fiction book Zodiac by Robert Graysmith, explores the investigation into the killer's crimes and the psychological toll it took on those involved. While the film does not offer a definitive answer to the question of who the Zodiac Killer was, it presents a chilling depiction of the case's lasting impact on those who pursued the mystery. One of the most striking elements of Zodiac is how it captures the sense of fear and paranoia that the killer's actions caused. The film portrays the unsettling nature of the Zodiac Killer's cryptic letters and taunting messages, which constantly keep the characters and the audience on edge. The film also delves into the emotional toll the investigation takes on the journalists, police officers, and detectives involved. As the case progresses and the killer remains at large, the characters become increasingly obsessed with solving the mystery, which adds a layer of psychological horror to the story. The eerie atmosphere of Zodiac is further enhanced by its period, setting in the late 1960s and early 1970s. The film captures the tense, fear-filled environment of the time, where the Zodiac Killer's cryptic letters and mysterious behavior sent waves of anxiety throughout the San Francisco Bay Area. The psychological horror of the Zodiac Killer. What makes the Zodiac Killer case so terrifying is not just the brutality of the murders, but the psychological impact of the killer's behavior. The Zodiac's ability to remain hidden, despite his eagerness to communicate with the public, created an overwhelming sense of dread and paranoia. His cryptic letters, in which he taunted the police and media, further heightened the fear that the killer could be anyone, anywhere, and that he could strike at any time. The psychological horror of the Zodiac case is amplified by the killer's apparent obsession with control and power. He reveled in the media attention and enjoyed the sense of superiority he felt by outsmarting the authorities. His cryptic ciphers, some of which remain unsolved, served as a constant reminder of the killer's intelligence and his ability to remain elusive. This psychological element of the case is explored in the Zodiac film, where the character's obsession with solving the case becomes just as terrifying as the killer himself. The horror of the Zodiac case lies not just in the gruesome details of the murders, but in the fear of the unknown. The fact that the killer was never caught and his identity remains a mystery to this day leaves a lingering sense of unease. The film adaptation taps into this fear, presenting a chilling story about the human obsession with solving unsolved mysteries, even when the answers may never come. The continuing legacy of the Zodiac Killer. Though the Zodiac Killer's identity remains unknown, the case has had a lasting impact on popular culture and the horror genre. The eerie nature of the crimes, combined with the killer's cryptic messages and taunting behavior, continues to fascinate both true crime enthusiasts and filmmakers alike. The Zodiac Killer story has inspired countless documentaries, books, and films, including Zodiac, which remains one of the most haunting depictions of the case. The unresolved nature of the case gives it a timeless quality, making it an enduring source of fear and intrigue. The fear of the unknown, the killer's psychological manipulation of the public, and the chilling nature of the crimes all contribute to the story's lasting impact. The Zodiac Killer remains one of the most infamous and unsettling serial killers in history, and his legacy continues to haunt both real-life investigators and audiences. Conclusion: the Zodiac Killer case is one of the most chilling and unnerving true crime stories in American history. The brutality of the murders, the cryptic messages, and the killer's ability to remain hidden have made it a source of endless fascination and horror. The 2007 film Zodiac captured the essence of this creepy crime story, delving into the psychological horror of the case and the emotional toll it took on those involved in the investigation. The legacy of the Zodiac Killer continues to haunt both the world of true crime and the horror genre. This story remains a terrifying example of how the fear of the unknown can fuel our darkest anxieties. While the identity of the Zodiac Killer may never be known, his influence on horror films and the public's imagination will undoubtedly remain for generations to come. If you like our video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel or hit the bell icon. Until next time, take a closer look at the past and always stay curious.